Here comes a new challenger!
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Chat and Draw. Who am I? Well, I'm the publisher Short Fuse Media Group, the founder of Freestyle Comics, the one half of the good, the bad, and the nerdy, the most enthusiastic person in comics, sometimes going by the alias of the Super Mad Brother. I am Mike Watson. I am your host today and every day on Chat and Draw. Now, probably wondering, what exactly is Chat and Draw? Well, Chat and Draw is a little online podcast where I sit with another creative, and now with season 2, a fan, and we talk about characters. With a creative, I talk about their character that they created, and while we're talking about the character, I draw said character. We learn about the character, we chat, and we draw. With the encouragement of the fan episode, which we did Saturday, we talk about a character that someone's a fan of. But we kind of had a twist this past Saturday. We actually crafted a brand new character for Freestyle Comics on that show on Saturday with my buddy Chad. So, and some of you probably are like, "Oh, Mike, why aren't you looking at the camera?" Because I decided to give you guys a more interesting camera angle, and I kind of like how this looks better because my head is down a lot while I'm drawing, and I didn't like the last camera angle because all the show was just like the top corner of my hat. You didn't get to see anything, so I figured we'd switch it up today. Now, we have an awesome special guest today, and I'm looking forward to getting this person onto the show today. As I found out, or as we've been doing these things, this is a learning process. I'm trying to figure out what works and what does not work for this show and getting people on here. John, what's up? Nice to see you, buddy. And Danny J. Quick is in the building. All right, all right, all right. So what we've done is I've set up a Patreon page for people that want to be, that are fans of the show, that want to be on the show, that want to get really cool artwork in regards to being a part of the show. I have tons of rewards on there and things like that. So please check out the Patreon page. I'll be putting that link up a little bit later. But we have also made, just for creatives, people that are making comic books, promoting comic books, that have characters that they are putting in a comic book or whatnot. We have created the links on our Short Fuse Media Group page, Facebook page. Well, I got them on here too or whatnot, but on our website for you just to be able to purchase and get yourself on the show. So kind of a mix of what we did last season with something new. So we got stuff for just the casual fan, and we got stuff for the creative that's trying to promote their character or whatnot. And man, do I have some guests lined up. We're probably going to take 1 or 2 shows away during the week just to stretch it out a little bit more. The guest lineups are stacking up, and I personally want to spread them out. And I don't want you guys to get tired of the show. So we're going to stretch it out a little bit. We're probably going to go down to 2, maybe 3 episodes a week or whatnot of this show, because I got other podcast shows to do it. And if I don't get to draw on this comic book, my editor-in-chief is going to kill me. And that's what we got to do. Got a bunch of comic projects lined up. Hey, Silent Dreamer, nice to see you. Haley's in the building again. Let me check and see what we got over here on Facebook. I am manning 2 channels at once. Let me hit the mute button so we don't get any of that background, back feed or whatnot. Facebook, I just said hit the mute button. Sean Mack is in the building. Chad's in here. What's up? What's up? How you doing? All right. So, without further ado, let's get to the getting. Some of you might notice I switched up the intro to the show. I kind of dig the commercial more so than the intro of the show, but I got both of them, and I run the show, so I'll just put whatever in there. You never know what we're gonna get, but you do know what this means because this doesn't change
Here comes a new challenger!
Hey,
Joey Haas in the building, man. How you doing?
good. How about you?
Doing great. Good to have you on here, man. I've known Joey for a while here. We've tagged up at some comic book conventions. You are from Cleveland,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah.
Represent Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I'm from, holding it down. So, Joey, we got a little bit of something here. Let me get to my stuff. Still a little slow on this. We got a lot of things going on here, trying to keep this show on and popping. But I believe I got our formula down pack here now. And Joey, tell us about this character right
He
here.
is,
Boom!
Beacon. He is the first character I created for 6 years ago now, actually. 2014, first comic came out. So basically, the storyline behind him is the Guardians have been protecting Earth for thousands of years. And originally, there was one Guardian to match with the population size. And as the population of Earth grew and there were more and more threats, there were more and more Guardians that were needed. So now there are thousands of them. There's teams of Guardians. But they've slowly stopped helping people. They only do it when they really feel like it. They kind of see themselves more as gods than heroes. So they only show up when it really benefits them. Beacon, the main character, finds out that this is what's going on, and it crashes his world because he thinks that they're saving everyone and they're, what they're supposed to be. So he goes off on his own and tries to create his own team of superheroes to kind of right their wrongs and redeem himself. In the process, he loses his powers and has to earn them back.
Sorry, I'm back. So a little growing pains there with your character.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Growing pains, your characters grow and learn to use these powers or get them back. You said you had to earn them back.
Yeah. So originally, like way back in ancient Egypt, when the first Guardian was there, how the Guardians' powers work is their powers grow to match the threat when they're using.
Oh.
So if they're protecting someone selflessly without like any regard for themselves, their powers will grow to match the threat. But they have no powers to go off and attack someone on their own. So it's almost like a failsafe to where, like Batman's always worried about Superman turning evil and destroying everyone. But these guys can't because their powers only work to protect people. So kind of, it's really good because you can help people, but you also can't go get revenge on a bad guy. You can't preemptively stop a bad guy. You have to only protect people with them. So how the Guardians fixed that or adapted to that was they created medallions, which actually, hang on. I don't have one here, but I 3D printed some of them. I 3D printed them a while back, but I don't have any close by. But the medallions basically supercharge their powers so that they can use them whenever they want. So when he leaves and goes off on his own, he can no longer recharge his medallion. So he has to learn how to use his powers how they were originally intended, and use them to protect people only.
Wow. Okay. I dig that. I like that. All right. So, where do these Guardians come from? Asks Chat.
So they're human beings. They're from Earth, but it's kind of random. So anyone could end up being a Guardian, but there's no really rhyme or reason to it. It's almost like a mutant in X-Men. Like you could be a mutant or you could just be a regular person. You originally back when the origin of the Guardians, like they would find a new Guardian would reveal themselves by doing a heroic act and their power showing up, and that would be the new Guardian then. So kind of just someone does something heroic and they end up having superpowers to protect somebody with. So that's how they're revealed.
Okay. All right. So, Chat says that. I'm checking my screens, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Also, please ask questions just like Chad did. Have those questions pop up. Join in the discussion, make comments, whatever, to participate in the discussion. All right. So, what was your process for creating this character, Joey? Like, where were you at? How did you come about? Like, all right, let me start making this character. You just sit down and say, all right, today is my character making day, or was this a long turning process?
Um, I had like the idea came over like the course of probably a couple of years, of just kind of coming up with an idea for a superhero, and then like trying to figure out like what would make, I guess, a good hero. And you always like think of like what is a heroic act. So I kind of like linked that in with the powers and said, okay, like what if their because you don't like I didn't want to make a hero that was just unstoppable and had unlimited powers. That's no fun if they win every time. So I wanted to create something that, well, they could stop anything, but also are very vulnerable at the same time. So I kind of evolved into this where they have unlimited powers, unlimited abilities, but only to protect other people. Like they can't protect themselves with these powers. They can't, go preemptively stop something from happening. Like it's a weakness and a power at the same time, I guess.
All right. So, but like, how did you come up with that little snafu? Like, what made you put that limiter on them?
I don't really know.
What up, LaShawn? LaShawn in the building.
Like I think it was more of like I didn't want them to be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted something to hold them back, to make it so that while they could protect everyone else, they couldn't protect, I guess, what was closest to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there are the idea kind of goes off to, there's a couple more stories down the line we haven't gotten to yet that I want to tell with it, to where they kind of have to figure out how to use their powers to protect people when there's not really anyone around. Like figuring out loopholes to use their powers.
Figuring out loopholes, you said.
Yeah. So whether that's some kind of technology to like the medallions to activate the powers again at any time they want, or one character has magic, they're trying to use that to build an armor for them that will activate the powers, or I should say not activate the powers, but hold a charge. So when they have their powers, it will absorb some of it and keep it for later.
Okay. Silent Dreamer wants to know, is there any way for an enemy to mess with the power limiter, i.e. make the threshold less than the bad guy's powers?
I'm not yet. I'm sure that's something that somebody could come up with. The medallions kind of play into that. So while they have unlimited power potentially naturally with their abilities, when they use medallions, they're actually weaker. So they have powers all the time, but they can't reach those unlimited levels. Like there's a cap with a medallion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a trade-off there where they can use it whenever they want. And that's why there's so many more of them now, is because they have that limit with the medallion.
Okay.
Whereas one guardian would be able to stop something. Now they need like a team of maybe 5 or 6 of them to, stop a big event.
All right. Chad is asking, who bestowed these medallions powers onto the Guardians?
So they, the powers themselves, they have naturally. There's a storyline that goes into that. I don't want to. That's not been revealed yet of where the original powers came from.
Okay.
So that's down the line. I'm not gonna get into that yet. But there's a story behind that. The medallions, the guardians, to reach the growing threats, they they commissioned someone, and that's coming up in 2 issues, I think. Because kind of the storyline does jump back and forth a little bit. It starts present day with him finding out like what's actually going on, and then they're not actually saving everyone, and him going off on his own, and then it kind of jumps back and forth to where their power, like the original Guardian, and then another Guardian a little closer to the present day. Right now, there's 7 issues out, and the 8th one is coming out later this year. And that is the 8th issue is the finale of like the first story arc, which is him leaving and going off on his own. And
Going off on his own? Where is he going?
well, when he leaves the Guardians and goes off on his own to create his own team of heroes and kind of
Okay.
yeah, which doesn't make them happy. So he kind of he kind of makes his team of Guardians upset with him leaving because now he's making them look bad. So he has to deal with them and also all of the enemies that they've made without really having any powers, and he's running his medallion is slowly losing its charge. So let's see.
So you've really put this guy into a situation.
Yeah.
Chad wants to know what part of Cleveland you're located at.
Originally from Parma, now we're in Brook Park.
And John is asking, what color are the medallions?
The medallions are gold when fully charged, and then they are a silverish gray when they run out of the charge.
Okay. So, is there a character inspiration for this character, or is it more personal for you? Like my character, I kind of have both. Hotshot being my flagship character is based off of me because I always wanted to be a superhero, taking place in my time during college. But then Hotshot's also foundation-wise inspired by Naruto, Invincible, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. So, is there anything like that going on with your character?
Yes. So originally, the character design for it came from me. So similar to you with Hotshot, the character design I based off myself. Because obviously, who doesn't want to be a superhero? So
Right.
And then as far as like the powers and everything, I just really like always like energy blasts and stuff like that for powers. Kind of a little bit of either like Dragon Ball Z or even firebending and like Avatar: Last Airbender. So that's the way I went with the power set. Was like that.
Okay.
And just like creating different energy stuff, either blasts or shields or different energy attacks. So. Oh, okay. Chad went to Baldwin Wallace. That's also where I graduated from. So.
Oh, we're back. Awesome. So what actually made you go with, saying that you wanted to make this character about you? With me, my circumstance was I was going through a lot of crap at the time, and I actually felt like I was I never went to the doctor to get diagnosed for it, but I just felt like I was depressed at this time in my college year, and I was using the book or making this book to help me like deal with the stress of what I was going through.
I've always liked making comics, and like all throughout high school, like if you look at my notebooks from different classes, like there's not notes, there's comics drawn in the notebooks. So the first couple of years of college, like after I wasn't like around my friends from high school every day in class and everything, I felt like I got away from comics, and I wanted to get back into that. So this is something I worked on. The first issue I worked on throughout my senior year of college, and right around graduation was Free Comic Book Day, and that's when I released the first issue.
Okay.
So I felt like I really enjoyed drawing and really enjoyed making comics and everything, and I just kind of really wanted to get back into that. So I think that's what pushed me to do it.
Alrighty. Yeah, it cut out for a second. Alyssa's in the building. What's up, Alyssa? How you doing? Shout out to Mike Phillips. How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. Where we at? Let's see if we got anybody on. Oh, do we have secret identities or not in this?
Currently not really, because the Guardians have made their own secret base. It's kind of like a floating dimensional. You can only get into it by using Guardian powers to go through like the portal. So it's floating above Earth. There's different bases, so they don't really care about secret identities because they're not hanging out on Earth. They think they're better than everyone else, so they hang out by themselves. And when they show up with their powers, their faces are covered. So I guess there technically are secret entities, but they're not really worried about them.
Okay.
But,
Alrighty. Go ahead.
For some of the new heroes that he's trying to make a team out of, they do care about their identities. So I guess they do have secret identities.
What's up, Issa? You're not. I don't know what the little emoji faces mean. Are you not satisfied with what's being said? Not satisfied with the art? Or maybe I'm just too old to understand all the emoji stuff. All right, so what about this character makes your character different from all these other characters out here, man? Like, why should we have people going? Like, I got your website scrolling down the bottom of my screen here. Why should people go to that website to purchase this book?
I think what was that?
No, I was just saying, what about the character really should make us go out here and get this?
I think the power set being limited as it is, I think it makes it a little bit different than other characters with similar abilities. But I think the story of following him, like where he picks doing what's right over what's best for himself, I guess, which is obviously like a lot of heroes do that. But following that and everything that it costs to where he loses his abilities, loses basically his identity, because that's all he's known his entire life is being a guardian, and everything is immediately taken away. So a lot of times, like you find that in like superheroes down the line, where they build up and then they lose everything, whereas this right from the start is starting with nothing and building up. Everything's taken away like immediately, and then just finding new people that no one else believes in to be that's his new team, is basically people that no one else believes could be heroes, and helping them to believe in themselves and be heroes as well.
Okay. Hey, John, thank you, man, and I appreciate that too, Chad. All right, so what would other characters say about your character? Like, let's say Spider-Man went on a mission with this guy, kicked it, hung out, saved the day, and somebody asked him, "Well, what do you think about this guy?" What would Spidey say about your character, man?
I definitely think he's a little out of touch, probably. Obviously, living secluded from everyone else and having this idea that you're a great hero and you're on this team of heroes that's amazing and everything, and then finding out that that's not what everyone else on the planet thinks. That they doubt you're actually going to show up and save them. He doesn't have a very clear picture of, I guess, the world, so he's still learning to kind of get more of a realistic approach on looking at everything. So I think Spider-Man would definitely agree he's got like the right intentions, but maybe not understanding exactly how everything works.
All right, I like that answer. Now this is the question we asked on the show, on all the shows, and it's probably my favorite question to ask. What would be this character's favorite food, and what would this character's favorite movie be, being on Earth?
Favorite food would probably be Probably a hamburger, a good hamburger. Just because like it's based off meat, like I said, and you can never go wrong with a good hamburger. But also, I feel like it just kind of fits his character. But let's see, favorite movie. Probably the original like Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
A lot of particularly like the train scene, because it's really what he strives to be like in a hero, is just sacrifice, like to selflessly sacrifice himself like for the greater good. So I think that would really resonate with him there.
Mhm. All right, Chad. I got it up on my other computer, and it only cut out the one time. So it's looking good on my end because I have the whole thing up on another computer. But thank you for keeping me updated. Chad thinks the character that we made on Saturday, his name is Headcase, can take your character.
I'll have to check it out. I missed Saturday's show. I'll have to check that one out and see.
Yeah, we literally made a character up on the spot. Like, it's a character Chad had, and I designed him off of everything Chad said live on the show.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be fun to check out.
Yeah, he's actually the big dude I had in here. Let me show you real quick, because I'm trying to be smarter about the work that I do. So he's the big guy right here in the background.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's got an alien entity inside of his head, and it gave him like this hard as steel metal frame around his head that he wears as a mask. He's a villain. So he might it might be a good match here. Nice little slobber knocker.
Yeah.
Oh, Haley wants to know how many Guardians are there at any given time.
Oh, originally there was one. Currently there's thousands of them. Because as the population of Earth increased, they needed more Guardians, and then as they switched to medallions to use their powers, the medallions limited their powers, made them easier to use, so they needed more Guardians to make up for the loss in power as well. So, but they don't currently they don't show up all that much. So while there are thousands of them, you don't really see too many of them at a time.
Why don't they show up very much?
They over the years just being praised and expected to like save every little thing. They've kind of gotten annoyed with having to show up all the time, and also a little bit big-headed with thinking they're better than everyone else. And instead of seeing themselves as heroes, they see themselves more as gods. So they kind of pick and choose where they go. So if it's like a big catastrophe with a lot of press and a lot of news, they'll show up to that because it makes them look good. But if it's a smaller thing that they would have normally shown up to, they may or may not, because if they don't really feel like it, they don't want to. So that's kind of gets into his Beacon's idea that they're showing up to everything, and that they don't really have to show up that much anymore because they've solved all the problems and it's a much better place now. Until he finds out when he's on a mission that, hey, like, there's a lot more things going on that we're actually showing up to.
So how is that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Saying, how is that revealed? Like, is that how does he find that out? That
so they're on a mission, and him and his team leader are down in inside of a building facing off against the bad guy, and a civilian character kind of pushes him out of the way of an attack and saves him. And he's kind of confused as to why, like, the civilian went in there to fight the bad guy when they would have shown up to do it. And he finds out that, like, they didn't expect the Guardians to actually show up. So he's kind of trying to do it on his own. So with that idea in his head, like, why why wouldn't we have shown up? He goes and researches in their base and finds out that because they have like anytime there's a problem, they have an alert that goes off, and he finds out that they have not been showing up to anywhere near the amount of alerts that have happened. So he approaches his team leader with this, and he's like, "Well, yeah, like, why should we? We don't have like if we show up to every little problem, like people are gonna like become dependent on us." And it's so it's not just the straight issue of, oh, we don't want to show up anymore. Like we don't have to. We're better than them. It's also like if we keep showing up to every little problem, people will become reliant on us, and they need to be able to take care of themselves because like one day we might not be here, or there's going to be other problems happening. So it's a little bit of a back and forth. It's not clear cut black and white. There's a little bit of a gray area in there of like, should we be showing up to everything? And whereas Beacon says yes, like we have the power to save everyone, we should be doing it all the time. His team leader and the other Guardians feel like they should only show up when they want to, and that it's not they didn't choose to be Guardians, so why should they have to save everyone all the time? Like they should be able to pick what they do with their own powers and their own lives.
Okay, all right. So we got some. I like that when things aren't so black and white. But we got Haley's asking, but what should constitute as something needing a guardian? I can see why they'd get annoyed if they're expected to just show up for a cat in the tree or something.
That's funny because that's the cat being in the tree is literally a point that the team leader makes when they're having an argument. But I mean, it obviously a cat in a tree, like that's not going to be something they show up for. He's just trying to make a point. But any type of problem where they could save someone is potentially something they could show up to. And there's enough of them. Like there are enough Guardians. How their powers work, like how getting the Guardian powers works are, there are enough of them to match like the need. So there's no.
Okay.
If all of them wanted to save everyone, there's no reason that they couldn't because there are enough of them.
Okay.
So it's that's another part of the gray area too. Is like what is an issue that needs to have a Guardian, and that's part of the team leader's argument is like if we show up to every little thing, like people are going to do stupid stuff, and they're going to expect us to be there to save them because they're not going to have any responsibility for their own actions. You know, they'll go up on a ladder and on a roof without someone holding the ladder because, a Guardian will come down and save me if I fall, you know?
That's really good, man, because that really gets people, the reader, and they're saying like, yeah, man, like hold your own damn ladder. You need to be able to do this on your own. Like we're not maids or anything like that. Like we're trying to do a service. We're trying to do the things that you guys can't handle, that are bigger than you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's the team leaders and the upper Guardians. That's their argument, is that we should be here for the big stuff and everything else they can kind of deal with on their own. And whereas Beacon says, well, like we're supposed to save everybody. We've got these powers. We should be out there saving everybody.
No, I don't like that one. All right, we got another question from Chad. It would be cool if the reader found out that the ancient gods from Greek, Rome, the Romans, Norse, etc., were just guardians of the past. Ooh. What about is that something you have planned, or is that something connected, or did Chad give you a nice idea?
Well, not necessarily the gods, but I have plans for like different fictional characters. So one of the Guardians he's in end of issue 5 and beginning of all of issue 6 and 7. He's a Guardian from the past, and he is I don't know if you can see this well, but he's the
Hold up, put it up again.
Yeah. So he's on the cover there. But he is the Black Knight from like King Arthur times. So kind of pulling in different eras and different stories with that. So but he's got a story to tell of how he became the Guardian. Then, but that has not come out yet. But we've introduced the character, just not really his full backstory so far. But not the gods. That'd be kind of a cool idea.
No.
Somebody asked if something could destroy the Guardians, something that might justify the leader's idea that they might always be there. There is a not this next. There is a villain out there who basically hunts Guardians. He hasn't shown up yet, but he's been hinted at. But yes, so there is that. And basically he hasn't shown up for the recent history because he can track them by their using their powers naturally, which the medallions don't allow them to do. So the medallions have kind of hidden them from him. But once, obviously, Beacon is heading towards using his powers naturally, which will bring him about again. So.
Okay. So you've definitely taken some time to plan for some different avenues, different lanes for the story to travel in.
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
And,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is the first story arc with the first 8 issues, and there are currently Beacon has 4 story arcs kind of planned out, roughly. This is the first of the 4.
Yeah, I think I like that hand better. Yeah. All right, so is there something done? And I like that you don't have the argument as a black and white situation. I don't quite know whose side I'd be on. Finally off of work, Mike. How y'all doing? The art is looking great. Thank you, Danny J. Quick. Appreciate it. Yeah. So you brought it up, and I think there are a lot of shows that do it, but in recent, we all were gifted with Avatar on Netflix.
Yes.
And they do a very, very, very good job of showing you both sides of the coin. Examples being that with people being part of the Fire Nation, that these people all aren't inherently bad. The people that actually live in the country or whatnot are just, regular people, but but the way that they teach them is that, they're a superior country and all that stuff, but they're regular people too. They're not bad guys and girls. It's not so black and white. But you putting these things in your story right now, the way that you have it, is setting up that type of path or journey. And I enjoy those type of things.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot. It makes it funner because you can kind of pick your side and not necessarily be wrong. Kind of like either Avatar: Last Airbender, like you said, or even Captain America: Civil War, where you can pick your side and there's no really right or wrong side. Obviously, Fire Nation's bad, but like you said, the people who are there, like, that's how they were raised and told what this was. Like, they don't see it as, they see them as like spreading the Fire Nation's prosperity. I think they phrased it as.
Right, yeah. Until you actually go in the country and you see.
Yeah. I really did it. I really enjoyed season 3 for that aspect because it switched them from being, this faceless enemy to, oh, okay, maybe they have a little bit of a point here.
Yeah. I think, they had some really good character arcs in there. You really got to know people a lot. Like they introduced them one way, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I hate this person. I'm supposed to hate this person." Then they sit down and say, "Well, maybe you don't hate this person
Yeah,
as much as you think."
yeah, 100%, definitely. Um, Real quick before I forget, let me talk about right now for COVID-19. I'm doing a contest actually on my website where you can submit someone who has been your hero during COVID-19, and we will make them into a superhero in a comic. So go enter that and then vote for your person. Um, the bad guy in this is the third contest we'll have run like this. The bad guy in issue 7 of Beacon was a fan created bad guy, and then a superhero in Invincible Squad #2, which is another comic I do, was created by a fan as well.
Okay.
So I like to do that because that's another, I guess, reason. Something I'd like to do with getting into comics was like, hey, let's involve everybody, you know. So if you have someone who's been a hero to you, or you've been a hero to someone else, submit yourself. I don't know.
Danger Quick says, "I hope they put Korra on Netflix too." I do too, Danger
Yeah.
Quick, because like I do own these on DVD, but it's just so convenient, and I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's super lazy just
Yeah.
to have it on Netflix and go through it.
Yeah, I got them all on DVD, and I was talking to my cousin the other day about it. He's like, "Oh, Avatar's on Netflix." I'm like, "Yeah, I got them on DVD." He's like, "Yeah, me too, but it's that much easier just to not have to get up and change the DVD."
Yeah, absolutely. Charles Simpson says, "What's good, gentlemen?" Nothing, man. What's good with you? Haley is back in saying, "Yeah, but I know the side I'm on for Civil War, and it was pretty easy for me. I don't know about which side I'm on for your story." Oh, okay. Nice comparison. Very
Yeah.
nice comparison.
That's true.
Danger Cook brings up the point that Aang at the Fire Nation school was a great episode. Man,
Yes.
it was one of
Yeah.
the best episodes.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that episode. What
That
are we
is,
doing?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a good episode. It's both funny with the dancing. It's got Wang Fire.
Yeah, and that's where him and Korra, or I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
his mom and dad for the episode, I think.
Sakura? No, Sakura. That's
Sa-
where Katara. That's where
Not her and Katara.
that's
Yeah.
where him and Katara really bond. You
Yeah,
know I'm terrible
yeah.
at names.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoy that one. I was looking forward to my kids watching it. Their reactions to every episode was awesome. Like when Zuko finally says it's my destiny to go help the Avatar. Oh my God, they went crazy. They went freaking bananas when he said that. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we're about a quarter of the way through season 3, because my wife has never seen it, so I'm making her watch it. So
Absolutely. Like I had my kids watching it earlier, when they were younger. They didn't really gravitate to it. I couldn't keep them sitting down for it or whatnot. But all 3 of them, they watched it, and my oldest came in from time to time and peeped it out or whatnot. But so now they're waiting to jump into Korra, the Legend of Korra, and my daughter Logan wants to watch Hunter x Hunter right now, which I didn't think she'd like that because I already watched it. But we're about to watch that. We watched the last episode, the final season of Clone Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that season was a complete waste of time, except for the last 6 episodes.
That's what I heard. I haven't seen it, but that's what I heard was that it was a waste of time. But except like the last episodes were great, and other than that, it was just meh.
Like, I mean, they should have just released the last 6 episodes as a special, and everybody would have been fine with that, man. Like,
Yeah. Wait, his. Never seen Silent Dreamer 26 says they've never seen it. They've never seen Avatar: Last Airbender.
what happened? Where's it go? All right, Haley. Now stop. Right immediately after watching the show, you need to go to your Netflix and
Yeah.
you need to start watching Avatar.
Now there's
It's
no excuse. It's on Netflix now. So
right. I literally have not seen a show talked about as much as
no. Yeah.
Avatar was when it got put on Netflix.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
a whole week it premiered, it was #1 on Netflix. I've never seen people talking about it so much on Facebook. I mean, I've seen tons of stuff premiere on
Yeah.
Netflix, and a few people were talking about it, but like everyone was talking about Avatar.
Yeah. And it's not even like it was a new show that came out and everyone was talking about it. Like it's been out for God, what like probably at least
Over 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, let me see here. What else I got? We did that. So when did you actually fall in love with comics, Joey? When did you pick up a comic and say, "Oh my God, this is it"?
2001.
All right.
So Bionicle. I don't know if probably no one's heard of it or remembers it, but the Lego line Bionicle had comic books through DC.
I remember that.
Yeah, I have every single one of them. I love those. That was my dream job growing up. Was I'm going to be the Bionicle artist for Lego. So that's definitely what got me into comic books was the Bionicle comic books. I've even got some of Stuart Sager's Bionicle prints up on my wall in here. So
So on your book, do you do everything yourself?
I do the art and I do the lines, the colors, everything like that. The script I have a little bit of help with. I bounce those back and forth, and then the editing is done by my wife. But for the most part, it's all done by me.
All right, cool. Yeah, man, I applaud you being able to do all that stuff yourself. I'm burnt down on everything that I do right now. So, my editor in chief, Danny Cooper, has finally gotten me to ink Hotshot as I go along. But I'm passing those colors off, man. Those colors, those letters. Somebody else has got to do them.
See, I love doing the colors. I don't know, like I think that might be my favorite part. I don't know if it's because it's like after I've storyboarded it out, sketched it out, penciled it, inked it, and then finally colored it. I don't know if it's because it's towards the end and it's finished then, but I do like the colors a lot.
Completely. There's a favorite section every so. Oh no. I love doing the pencils.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's my favorite part of doing the book.
It's weird too, because like I remember like before I started doing the comic book, before Beacon #1, I hated adding color to anything. Like I would draw it, I'd add black and white to it, and ink and everything, and I would leave it because I felt like if I color this, I'm gonna ruin it. I like how it is right now. I'm just gonna leave it. And I made the choice, like with the comic book. I'm like, well, it's got to be like I want to do it in color. The powers and everything, it looks better with color. So I started doing that, and now like I don't leave anything black and white anymore. Like I have to color everything now. So complete 180 from where I was before I did these. So
yeah, I would say that is the same here with me because now drawing this on the iPad, I can't. I have to ink everything now.
Mhm.
There we go. Hold up. Where
you do the inks by hand on like paper and then scan them in, or you do the inks on the iPad?
Oh no. if I'm on the iPad, I'm doing the inks on here.
Okay.
I will still do inks for physical art on commissions and stuff like that. But yeah, no. I can't stand inking, and the iPad makes it sustainable, like that I can do it. Like, all right, yeah, I'll do those inks. But you talking about doing it on paper? Not voluntarily. Like I'm not. I'm not just about to pull out some inks. Like, yeah, let me start inking this thing right here.
Yeah, currently I do mine all on. I pencil them and ink them on paper, and I scan them in and do the colors all on the computer. So it's 50-50, I guess. But
Mhm.
uh,
Well, let me get back here. Here's your character, man. We got them all drawn up.
I like it.
Digital Links got some effects on there, and we've added him to the end of the season piece.
Yeah, the group shot. Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, let everybody know, Joey, where they can find you, where they can follow you.
So you can go to my website. It's comicsjh.com. We're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/superjhcomics. Instagram is, and that's the same as Twitter as well. And then all the comics are actually, we just switched it almost probably about a month ago now. All of the comics are actually free to read on the website digitally, and then you can buy print versions there as well. But if you want to read them and check them out and don't have any money to pay anything, then you can read them all for free online. And if you do, I'd appreciate if you fill out the survey on the website so I can make the future issues better. If you hate them, let me know why, because any feedback is good feedback. So, and then Chad, yes, Yellow Jackets for life. Yeah.
Haley, you can watch Avatar: The Last Airbender while you're unpacking. Yes, you can. Because you're about to say no. But hey, Joey, I'd like to thank Joey for being on the show. Thank you for letting me play with your character.
Yeah.
I like the lights and effects that you have on them and whatnot. So that was pretty fun to design in them. And I think you got a pretty solid story, man, with a lot of variety that lets people what's the word? have to choose within themselves. Which the morality, I think you got a lot of that in the story, man. And I hope you guys pick it up. The website is ticking below. Let's hit some of these banners that I made for Joey here, man. All right, so we got the website here in case that ticker is going a bit too fast for you. Go to the website, check them out. What'd you say?
Oh, if you have an Android phone as well, or an Amazon device, we've actually got a mobile app game. Probably can't see it on here.
Oh, yeah. Right there, we can see it.
So we've got that for the Inventor Squad, which is another comic we've got. So check that out. It's free to play. It's on the website too. It works better as the app downloaded, but it's on the website, and we're maybe putting it on iOS too, but not yet. There's a few more hoops to jump through for iOS than there were for Android. So.
Alrighty. Yeah, I forgot you showed me that, man. That was a pretty cool thing that you had that game at. Make sure if you are a creative, such as Joey, making comic books and want to get your comic book featured and your character featured on the show, sign up right there at that link. That's a direct buy-in for the creators. If you're a fan and you're just trying to get some commissions or pinup work done through the show and you want to be featured on it and talk about why this character is your favorite character, or you want to design a character live on the show through a fine edition, go ahead and check out the Patreon page, which is right here as well. If you're looking at the link, or you can go straight to Patreon and you can search Art of Mike Watson. Also, make sure you give me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook, because I'm all over that place. We will have another incredible episode tomorrow for Chat and Draw, and then we'll be back. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into this episode. I want to thank Joey for bringing his character on here and letting us play with him. Please make sure you give him a follow and hit up his websites as well for his stuff. And we are out.